I think we are live. Hello, everybody. Happy Monday. I am very happy to have my friend, colleague, Mari Hodges to join me again to continue our part two of our conversation on deconstructing pain. We had a beautiful conversation last week going through the definition of the pain and what's pain doing to us really, and how pain is a stressor. Very insightful, very solid, lots of resources and tools. It's the recording is in my group, in my Facebook group, Xiao Song's Healing Circle, and it's also in YouTube now, and also in me and Marie's personal pages. Marie, welcome. Thank you. I know it's snowing now.
It is
Snowing now
snowing.
in Montana. Amazing. Is it freezing?
It's freezing. It's very cold.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, and here it's spring, summer, and hoping the heat will return. We had a whole week of torrential rain, but today the sun is out. Yes,
Nice.
Marie. I loved what you talked about pain setting the alarm for us, and pain is there to protect us, to really warn us against danger. I love
Right.
that. But you also mentioned something very important, that this alarm can be oversensitive and
Yeah.
can be overprotective.
Yes.
So, when this alarm it's too sensitive, it gets set off all the time. Imagine a car alarm being oversensitive, and we have this alarm set up
Just
all the
going
time.
off all the time. Yeah.
How stressful it
Yeah.
is, and it's the same with pain. So would you like to talk about how to desensitize this alarm, perhaps? You
Yeah.
know so much about that.
Okay. Well, the more that I learn about pain neuroscience, the more I learn how complex this is, and pain is very complex. And pain is never about just what's happening in the body, that we do know. And yes, our alarm system can get sensitized. It's as if it's set really sensitive when we have pain going on for a long time. And we want to bring the level of that sensitivity down. And since we know that pain has so many factors, it's never just from the body, because our brain is always on the lookout to protect us. That's its job, to protect us. And it does that by raising up the sensitivity in lots of different ways. So what that means is not that doesn't mean that our pain isn't real. It doesn't mean that pain is in your head. It means that we need to look at different ways of getting at it to lower that alarm system, to lower the sensitivity of the alarm system.
Mm.
So yes, we do want to deal with issues in the body if there's an injury, but when pain's been going on for a long time, it has less and less to do with what's going on in the body and more to do with the nervous system itself. So yeah, I think we're
Yeah,
going to talk
we
today about
are
how to reduce that sensitivity.
absolutely, we are both Alexander teachers and Alexander technique. The core essence for me is to teach people how not to overreact or not to react at all.
Yeah.
Would you like to introduce that a bit?
Sure.
Because we react like
Yes.
an animal,
Yes, and that's
but we
pain's
are not
function.
animals.
Right.
Yeah.
The purpose of pain is to get us to change our behavior. And when it's working well, we want that to happen. If we step on a nail, we want to notice, we want that alarm system to go off. But
Mm.
it takes time for the sensitivity to reduce too. So in one sense, we want to be compassionate with ourselves too, to give that time. But as you mentioned with the Alexander technique, we help people to reduce the reactivity, first of all, by beginning to notice our reactions. And that's really key because pain grabs our attention. It grabs our attention so strongly that sometimes we can't think about anything else. So what we do with the Alexander technique over time is gradually build up the ability to expand our attention, to notice what's going on inside ourselves and outside. And that helps to make the pain smaller. It makes it a smaller part of our lives, and it takes the power away.
Absolutely.
That's one thing that happens.
It's for me, it's really like meditation in activity, because in meditation, I'm going to make a special video on meditation, because lots of people have been asking me to demystify it, but it's all about not to get attached to the pain.
That's a good way of looking at it.
It's all about stepping back and then look at the pain in adequate to its adequate portion and place, instead of pain is everything in my life.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and pain becomes part of our identity when it goes on for so long.
Yeah.
And we want to be able to come back to noticing other things too. And that's part of what it's part of treatment for pain too, is beginning to notice other sensations, not just the pain. I like to think of it also as our brain as an orchestra that is capable of playing lots of different music and lots of different tunes. But when we have pain for a long time, it learns the pain tune and it just plays that tune over and over and it memorizes it. And every little thing just triggers the pain tune. But we can remember other tunes. We can start to remember other tunes and learn new ones. And that gets our brain back to other sensations. And that's one of the things that we're doing with Alexander technique, is getting people to notice other sensations, and also noticing the muscle tension that typically goes along with pain. That's a natural reaction, to tense the muscles to protect, but over time it becomes counterproductive. So we're helping people to distribute that muscle tension.
Yeah, especially for people who suffer from chronic pains. I'm sorry, my mobile phone, I'm going to switch it off. Yeah. And I like to talk about a very important mindset shift, which is, instead of resisting pain and feeling really angry, why me, go away, get rid of pain for me, please, doctor, or whoever. Embrace pain, befriend pain, and thank pain that he or she is there for something very, very, very important. And the pain is a teacher, is a friend, really. Like what you said, the pain is there to protect us. Anything you like to add on to that?
Basically, when pain lasts for a long time, it starts to be counterproductive. So we're wanting to notice what's going on, notice what's happening in our body, so we can get the reactivity of our nervous system calmed down. But in the short term, pain is very useful, and we don't want pain to go away. Pain is a natural part of life.
Yeah, totally. And the idea that the pain can be cured for good is an illusion. It's a fantasy.
Not realistic.
It will never happen. And appreciate pain, but not get overwhelmed by it. And I think embracing the pain, that itself will help reduce the pain, because the desire to be cured, the desire to be free of pain, actually adds extra tension and anxiety. It kind of put the volume of the pain up, make it even louder. Marie, you know the idea of not to react, to reduce the reactivity to the pain. It's I think is the key. Do you have any practical tools, especially from the Alexander technique, how to reduce this reactivity.
Yes, in the Alexander technique, we're looking at getting people moving, getting movement freed up, and movement is so important in reducing pain. A lot of times, people who have had pain for a long time are afraid of moving, and it's really important to remember that hurt does not necessarily equal harm. So someone might start moving and feel soreness, but that can be okay. And as we begin to explore that area of sensitivity, then the pain sensitivity will gradually go down. And that's another thing that we're doing with Alexander technique, is we're getting people to gradually move in a way that's not frightening, so that the nervous system is not afraid of moving. So one thing that we can do is just begin to check in with ourselves and say, okay, if I want to look around, what's that like in my neck? And a lot of times people have tension in their necks. So if we let our eyes be free to move and let our heads follow, okay, is that easier or is it less easy? And we can start to ask ourselves, where do I notice some ease in myself? Instead of where do I notice tension, because it's easier for us to notice the consequences of tension and pain. So if we say, where do I notice some ease? Maybe the head will start to turn a little bit more easily. So we can start to notice those things.
That's beautiful. That's a paradigm shift, to shift the attention from pain to wellness, even though the wellness can be minute, but it's also there. And we need to nurture that wellness and allow that part of the body to help the pain body. That's beautiful. And also talking about reaction again, it's not often, probably 100%, it's habitual, isn't it?
Yes, right. Yes, our reactions tend to be habitual. So as we begin to start moving, we can notice, how am I reacting to the idea of moving? And that's something that we explore in the Alexander technique too, is as I think of moving, or as it's suggested that I move, what do I do in reaction to that idea? And we can begin to discover how we tighten up in response to our thoughts. And we can use that to come back to the idea of not reacting, not doing, which is another principle of the Alexander technique, is not doing, not reacting, and come back to opening up, thinking of opening up and out, and not reacting to the stimulus, the idea of moving, and then allowing movement instead of forcing movement to happen. So it can sound a little bit abstract as we talk about it, but the more that we experience it, the more real that becomes.
Yeah. So we transform the reaction to responding. We are responding to the stimulus of the pain instead of reacting. Yeah, reacting is like we tense up straight away, often when we react to something like danger, fire, attack, robbery. We tense up. So when we respond, it's more intelligent. And when we respond, we actually allow more space into us.
Yes.
It's more.
Yeah, sorry. And as we do that, our nervous system calms down, because when our muscles are tight, we're getting more danger messages to our brain, reinforcing the brain's perception of danger. So as we allow muscles to stop tightening and move more freely, that's contributing to that desensitization of the nervous system, and getting the nervous system to stop overreacting.
Yeah, totally. I love that. Movement is health. And according to traditional Chinese medicine, we categorize the causes of pain only two. It's not like Western medicine is a long list of causes, but according to traditional Chinese medicine, the cause of pain is either depletion of energy, depletion of qi, or blockage of energy. And in order to unblock depletion, we talk about rest, obviously, nurturing, resting. and meditation, all that. But when we deal with blockage, movement is the answer. Obviously, there are lots of other help like acupuncture, uh, chi therapy, tai chi, qigong therapy, all that help to deblock, unblock the energy. Also, craniosacral therapy, all that energy therapies helps. Reiki, all
Yeah,
that.
getting moving is so important. Our bodies are made to move. They're not made to hold still. And
Yeah.
I'm curious, Xiaoseng, about how you think about our inner healer and how that gets us moving as well. How is that related to movement?
Wow. The inner healer thing is huge, and it's the core of my coaching, my teaching. Is instead of hand our power to the doctors, to the medical professions, to the therapists. I know people who go to the hospital every other day. My father is the one, and they know, doctor tell me what's wrong with me. I need to do this test, that test, every test under the sun. I need to know, otherwise, I'm panicking. But no, you have inner wisdom, you have an inner guru, you have an all-knowing. We all do, living inside you, and you need to quiet down. We talk about desensitizing as well, to reduce the overreaction. You need to calm down, you need to ground, you need to feel yourself, and then you need to tap in, and you will know what's wrong with you and why, and the way to go out to grow, get out of it, the way to heal. It takes practice. It's totally possible, and I'm the living example of it. I am 53. I can't recall when was the last time I went to the hospital. Maybe when I broke my leg in 2006. That was it. I don't take any medications apart from homeopathy remedies, and I'm absolutely confident that my inner doctor, my inner healer, is there to guide me, to help me, um, to point me to the direction, to the right direction. It's a huge subject matter. It might sound a bit woo-woo, but it really works. It really works. And also, I like to talk a little bit about nutrition, how certain foods actually add fuel to the pains. And it's very, very important to modify the diet, to cut out, stimulants like alcohol, coffee, um, food that are too much acidy food, and all that, because they actually add fuel to the inflammation. Often pain, a lot of pain is caused by inflammation.
Yes.
Check with a good nutritionist. That's very, if not half of the healing journey. Very, very important.
Yeah, yeah. I would just add that in general, a healthy diet is so important, just eating whole natural foods and the fewer processed foods as possible, and foods that are anti-inflammatory. I would agree with that. Be really
Yeah.
important.
Also, teas, herbal teas. A lot of herbs are medicinal, so they are not expensive. They are easily available, and explore them, and they are very, very tasty as well. Um, that's that. Anything else you like to add on before we close the conversation?
Well, last week we talked about a little bit about learning about how pain works, and the reason behind that being to know that to really know that our nervous system can change.
Mm,
Change is possible, and our nervous system and our pain is not fixed. And I think that's so important because it gives us hope.
yeah.
And yeah, hope is so important, to know that there's a possibility of change, that things are not stuck the way that they may be today.
Yeah.
And yeah, as we begin to come back to noticing other sensations, beginning to move, beginning to quiet our system. And those are all things that the Alexander technique helps with too. We can change what's happening.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think the hope is the best remedy.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
also trust that your body can heal itself, given the
yeah,
support, given the self-love. It is an act of self-love, totally the healing journey, and trust that the body is able to heal itself. um, Recover your power, empower yourself instead of holding yourself over to a medical professional who doesn't really know you intimately. Really, you are the only one who knows yourself intimately. I have countless of successful cases to demonstrate that, and I'm so confident in saying this. Um, is that it? Anything to add on? You can find us. You can find me in my Facebook group, Xiao Song's healing group, and connect with your inner healer is my business page, or DM me directly if you're interested in working with me. And Marie, you please share your information here as well with us.
yes. My name is Mari Hodges, and my Facebook page is Discoveries in Movement. And you can find my webpage also at discoveries, spelled EASE, .how, HOW.
I will add all the information underneath the video link as well. Thank you so
All
much
right.
for
It's been great
joining
talking with
us.
you, Shasang.
Yeah, to be
Thank you.
continued. I
To
think
be
we have
continued. There's so much more that we can talk
a
about.
lot to share. This is just the beginning
Just the beginning.
of a massive cake. The first few the
Yeah.
first few bites. Have a beautiful week. Thank you so much, Marie, and
Thank you.
enjoy the snow.
Yes, at least there's snow if it's cold.
Bye. Bye for now. Much
Thanks.
love.
Bye bye.